you and whoever else you have helping you are gonna pay.
Now you're the one who makes deals with murderers, yeah? So I've come to make mine. Release me.
For what?
Or I kill everyone.
There was law against making movies that made sense. This would have broken every fucking law out there, because this is one of the dumbest but entertaining movies I've seen this year.
Hey, man, as long as it's entertaining, that's all it's got to do.
I don't know if it was all that dumb.
I don't think it was that. I don't think it's dumb as-
implausible, yeah, but dumb?
Gerard Butler and Jamie Foxx in a battle of who can outact the other. I overact. No, I overact. No, I overact.
They no, you know what? That's one of the things I did like about the movie. I was happy to see Jamie Foxx and Gerard Butler in the same film, and I thought that they worked pretty well together. Yeah. It's what they did outside of them that was really dumb.
Wait, the director is F. Gary Gray? Or
Friday, the guy who did Friday.
And The Negotiator.
And The Negotiator?
I mean, look at The Negotiator. You can see, like, okay, this is what this guy likes to do. You got a black guy and a white guy and a test of wills with some kind of crime story and a back and forth and who's right, who's wrong, who's working together.
Actually, you were right about that, because this movie, we open up with Gerard Butler, who we, for all intents and purposes, assume that he's just an average guy who has a brutal crime committed against him. And he pretty much has to watch his wife and daughter get killed in front of him. Now, we cut to, after the opening credits, we cut to prosecutor Jamie Foxx, who is working with Gerard Butler on this crime. And because of some plea bargain that's involved that would at least get them some bit of justice, the main brutal killer gets away.
Yeah, well, not so much gets away, but gets an extremely light sentence.
Oh, that's pretty much getting away for what we saw in him doing. And Gerard Butler is telling him, like, man, I was there. I saw how bad this was, and you're letting the wrong guy off easy.
Yeah, and you, as you know, as somebody who a crime's been committed against, you have the choice to press charges or not. Aside from that, you have no control over anything.
Right. Yeah, he's pissed, because who wouldn't be? He watched his wife and kid get murdered right in front of him. It looked like maybe even a little wife rape there. I don't know. Maybe a little salt of wife rape on top.
And let's not forget, they stabbed him too.
Yes, they did.
Oh, and he's pretty much left for dead as well.
He's not pleased. He's expecting justice out of the system. He's grown up as an American expecting, and is left going, what the fuck is this bullshit? And with an entirely smug legal system looking back at him going,
yeah,
look, man, just shut the fuck up.
Jamie Foxx is coming in, hey, man, I just want you to work with me. You dig? We're gonna get some justice. Not everything you want, but you got to trust me. And it's almost like, you know, what is this, a poker game to you or something? It's like this is guy's family.
Darby has agreed to testify against Ames. With Darby's testimony, Ames will go to death row.
What about Darby, then?
Darby will plead guilty to murder.
In what degree?
Third.
I don't understand. I'm sorry.
We had a setback, Clyde. The judge ruled that the DNA was inadmissible.
Okay, well, that's okay, because I saw their faces. I saw them do it. I mean, they killed my little girl, man.
You blacked out, Clyde. Your testimony won't be reliable. You get on the stand, and the defense will tear you apart.
Nick, both of them are guilty, especially Darby. You know that.
It's not what you know, Clyde. It's what you can prove in court.
So Gerard Butler is like, all right, you know what? Go on then. Do what you got to do. You haven't learned. You haven't heard the last of me.
Meanwhile, 10 years later.
Yeah, 10 years later, we get the film you'd expect this entire movie to be summed up in 20 minutes. I mean, all of a sudden you think, oh, I know what the rest of this movie is, but that movie takes about 20 minutes to get done. You're like, wow, that was quick. That's the greatest short film I've ever seen. And then it's like, no, that's just the first act. And what comes next is where this film gets kind of weird.
Yeah, no, it's 10 years later, and Jamie Foxx has grown a goatee, and now he has.
Well, that's not weird.
No, not at all. No, and then he has his own daughter who's 10 years old now. He has a wife, and seems like this guy that Gerard Butler has played is completely out the picture.
Yeah,
but then the execution for the guy that they have, who's like not as bad as the other guy that committed the crime.
He's sort of like the wheel man.
Yeah, he was just watching.
Yeah, he was just watching, poor guy. But you know,
hey man, you can't sit there and watch a brutal crime and go like, I don't know.
I had nothing to do with it.
Maybe you shouldn't do this.
Wasn't me. Because of that plea bargain, though, somebody got to him, and the execution, which is supposed to be by lethal injection, goes terribly wrong.
Yeah.
And when they try to figure out who's actually reaching in and committing these crimes, because not only does the guy who's on death row and gets executed, does that go bad, but somebody has caught the real bad guy. and that guy, that guy had a bad fucking day that day.
All I know is the guy from Saw is like, oh man.
That's actually what I really enjoyed about the opening of this movie is this takes the premise of Saw and puts talent behind it and makes something, watching it from a different perspective, where rather than watching it from the victim's perspective, you're watching it from the killer's perspective and you're going, yeah, this motherfucker deserves it, and you're watching it from that point of view, and then the film slowly changes perspective into where we start examining what this guy's doing and whether it's right or wrong.
And that is true because we soon learned that Gerard Butler is not an average guy. In fact, this movie could be called The Wrong Guy to Fuck With.
He's Liam Neeson from Taken.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, except he's not the guy who goes out and does it himself. He's the brain guy who has been working behind the scenes, a super smart nerd who puts all this shit together and has all the phone numbers to make shit happen.
He's wanted to go to jail, and the reason why he wanted to go to jail is to prove a point that I can reach any motherfucker outside of this cell.
And he wants revenge against a honestly not working legal system. And I don't know about you guys, but I've had some bad experiences with the legal system. And
I've had none.
And we know we've seen some on TV. We're like, what the fuck is that shit? I mean, we're all disenchanted with this. So the movie starts off selling us Gerard Butler as sort of a hero, almost V from Vendetta. You know, he's getting revenge against some serious douchebags. But as it goes along, we're like, there comes a point you just go, okay, you can't keep selling this movie without it turning into terrorism, and clearly you're not going to do that. So what the fuck are you going to do?
Well, Gerard Butler's character, I mean, you say he's Liam Neeson. I think he's like almost like the eternal champion. Like every so often, a character like this must arise. You know, you got Liam Neeson from Taken. You got Denzel Washington from Man on Fire. John Rambo. There's always one of these badass guys that's like, not only do you not want to fuck with him, but they always got some other guy who comes along, an expert, to tell you like, oh, this guy, you picked the wrong guy to fuck with. My biggest problem was that there's a point where they want you to like you say, not root for him, to go like, he's a terrorist, he's gone too far. And I never had that. I was on his side to the end. I was like, yeah, I don't see where this guy's wrong.
Well, they didn't make any of the other characters likable. I mean, every time they do anything, even when they introduce new characters towards the end, like a mayor, you're like, what a cunt.
Viola Davis, who comes in as the mayor of Philadelphia, she's
like the meanest looking woman in the world.
Man, when she's done a scene with Jamie Foxx, she's like, you better get this shit together, you're fired. And you see Jamie Foxx like,
I love that she has ninja Negroes at her beck and call. She's like, get that Bible. And then someone who wasn't in the scene magically appears with the Bible going,
yes, ma'am. And you expect that Bible to blow up. I mean,
I did.
Yeah, that's what he said.
That Bible's going to blow up.
So let me get this straight. Not only do we know who did it, we have him locked up and he's still killing people? How did this get away from you, Jonas?
It's complicated, April. He's very smart. He's very angry.
We assume he has an accomplice helping him on the outside.
I'm not having this conversation. I don't care how smart he is or who's helping him.
You're like, that's it. She's on the list now. I'm calling Gerard Butler right now.
That one of the weakest parts of this film is that they do make these characters so unlikable or you're just so disconnected from them. And you can tell when they're going to die because they get this scene of going, well, maybe what we're doing is wrong all along. This has made me re-examine my life. I'm going to go out to my car now. Boom!
Or somebody's going to die because they have a shitty personality like, well, I have a lot of power and I can do whatever I want to. Yeah. And I was with the movie and I was with Gerard Butler until he became a super villain like the Toy Man.
Yes.
He was
Superman's villain, the Toy Man.
He was actually a combination of Hannibal Lecter and Jigsaw, that Saw puppet from the Saw movies. Because I was waiting because he has that same voice at times. Hello, my name is blah blah blah. And don't call the police and I'll save you. You want to play a game?
Oh my God, you're the guy from Saw. Can I have your autograph?
Yeah, I wonder if Jigsaw was going like, oh, that's what he wanted to borrow that for.
Yeah, no, I was expecting Gerard Butler to come out a little tricycle towards Jamie Foxx. Hi, Jamie, you want to play a game? Gerard Butler, I mean, he was like the reverse Batman or something. I mean, he had a
we call him the Riddler.
Yeah, yeah, he was laying bombs in every place. I mean, people were just opening cell phones and dying. People riding bicycles and dying. I think one girl was petting a cat and the cat exploded. I mean, it was just like, God damn, can this dude not be stopped?
I totally agree with you. There's a moment where this vehicle rolls out and you're like, what the fuck is that? And the whole movie shifts after that because it's gone to a whole new level of believability. where everything up until that point made sense and was believable, and then you get to this scene that's like, oh, you got to be fucking shitting me.
Yeah.
And from that point on, the movie becomes, as you're saying, a supervillain movie.
Well, and I don't mind that so much. I mean, I can take movies where they take things to the extreme. I can suspend disbelief. But the movie started out strong, and it started out with a mixed message about what is revenge, what is justice, how foul is the justice system. And I was expecting to have that playing more. And then they just kind of gave it all away to where Gerard Butler became a total villain. And that message was lost. And we kind of had two different movies. We had one that started out as a kind of a cool, maybe exaggerated drama.
Anti-hero movie.
Yeah. And then really, you know something, there was a really strong half that just the second half can't keep up
The
with.
problem is this is a Hollywood film. If it had been like maybe from a smaller studio, we would have seen something like they would have made Jamie Foxx more evil, more diabolical in his badness and not so mundane in it. So when bad things start happening to these characters, we can stick with the main character all the way through and go, good, fuck these people, kill them all. And you just have what this should have been, which is just a fun, blow 'em up revenge film.
I wish I could agree with you there, but this was from a small studio. This is from Overture, and this is a company that's trying to come out and prove itself. And what they did is they tried to make a studio film when they should have made something darker and ballsier. Now, granted, this will probably make more money than darker and ballsier, but it's not as good. I mean, it starts off really strong. I really, really enjoy the first half of this movie, but the second half really starts sliding downhill as you just feel disconnected from these characters entirely.
I'd go so far as to say I enjoyed the first 2/3 of it. I mean, even at the halfway mark, I was still with it. But Carlisle, you nailed it, as you know, that jigsaw scene, as you put it. That's where it stretched believability to a point where it's like, damn it, I was so wanting to keep going with this, and now you've made it near impossible. And I wasn't crazy about where it ended either. I was real like, man, this was completely unnecessary.
It should have had a rougher ending to it. It should have had more ambiguous ending to it. But I tell you, watching it, I mean, it reminded me of Training Day in a way where it's like, I really want to believe in both these characters, and I'm having a hard time with them, and I'm flipping back and forth between Jamie Foxx's character and Gerard Butler. But I think that one of the things that kept me going through this movie was watching Jamie Foxx and Gerard Butler. I mean, especially Gerard Butler. He's sitting in there. He has some great lines, and the way he just fucks with Jamie Foxx through this movie.
Oh, yeah.
You cannot help but be entertained by that.
Well, it's like I think it was the movie Fracture, the one with Anthony Hopkins and Ryan Gosling.
Oh, yeah.
Just reminded me of that kind of movie, which is really enjoyable. And I think, you know what, I think this movie will do well because a lot of people who would want to go see something like this just from the trailers are going to get something better than what it looked like. Because I thought this would be just a complete piece of shit.
No,
and you know, like we've all said, it was actually pretty enjoyable for most of it, smarter than you expect. It's just, you know, in that third act, I just thought it started to lose it. And it's where a lot of movies lose it. It's like they have such a great premise and they know where to go for a while, but when it comes to, hey, how are you going to end this? And they go, huh?
I gotta tell you, I loved the first half of this film so much that I was sitting there in the theater going, if this movie has the balls to stick with the courage of its convictions, it's gonna be like on a 7 level of like, wow, if this goes dark as I think it might be going, this is gonna be one of the best films of the year. But it doesn't. It takes that, you know what, we can't do that because people might get mad at us.
Sure.
And takes the path well traveled. And in the end, it was like, okay, I wish I could go back and re-edit this myself.
In this movie, it's funny because it was almost like in Gerard Butler's contract that he had to get naked and show off his ass because he gets naked to get arrested. It's like, you know, everybody's open up and they're like, well, did you have to take off your clothes to get arrested?
No, I had to take off my clothes so that I could show the scene of me putting the shirt back on and show off my abs. That's what that whole scene was about.
I'm sure he said, if Ryan Reynolds has that in his contract, I want it in mine.
Yeah, people are like, damn, ain't a bunch of women showing up. There's a bunch of cops, man. Put your fucking clothes back on.
It's called the McConaughey.
Oh, is that the new term? No, it's I like the movie as just a good piece of entertainment. I mean, they lead you to believe that there's something deep going on, but it's not. And if you can really, we're telling you ahead of time right now. And look, y'all can disagree with me, but I'm telling you, I
disagree with you.
Well, there you go. But a lot of people probably won't when I tell you that the shit gets stupid. Okay, when they explain a lot of things that this guy does, and nobody recognizes for 10 years. It is ridiculous. So get that out your mind. Just enjoy it. And if you do that, you could probably enjoy it for matinee.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to go lower. I'm thinking matinee too. Probably right in the middle on a matinee. You know what? It's a really entertaining movie. And for the most part, if I'd pay matinee, I'd be sitting there going like, wow, this is awesome. All right, I don't like the end so much. But still, I enjoyed it up to that point.
Yeah, I think that part of my problem was that it didn't go where I wanted it to go, where I felt like it could have gone. And so there was definitely more disappointment there. It's still matinee. It's even a strong matinee on that level.
I got a break from the pack here. I think it's a rental, and I think it's a strong rental. I think it's a film you should probably check out, but you should probably rent. There's nothing here worthy of the big screen. There's no great cinematography. There are no killer action scenes. It's a very plot heavy movie that isn't really pretty. So it's really one of those things that it's only satisfying enough to be, hey, that was a fun movie to rent. I don't think it's strong enough to see in a theater, so I give it a rental.
Okay, I can't argue with you there.
No, and I definitely see that. I'm barely above rental myself on this, but I did have fun.
But you know how I feel about logic issues and how I think that you, particularly Corey, you won't give films credit. You'll worry about the phone and let that get in your head. I have to 100% agree with you here. Shit gets stupid.
Thank you.
Even when I say shit gets stupid, shit gets stupid.
It's ridiculous in this movie, and I don't blame you for giving it a rental at all. And one of the things I thought would have been cool is like you said it was directed by F
Gary Gray.
Gary Gray, yeah. The crime that was committed against Gerard Butler, I thought it would have been funny had Debo come in taking his chain. You know, give me that. That's my chain, punk. Gerard Butler's talking to Jamie Foxx. My mama gave me that chain, man. He's guilty.
Because you ain't got no respect for what's right. You ain't got nothing to do that makes sense. I'm going to get you blown up.
I'm going to bring the whole system down on your head. It's got to be biblical.